Singapore government's tech arm, GovTech, will let go of 93 staff in the first stage of what it calls a phased transformation. The 2-year exercise, which aims to help the agency shift its focus from project delivery to product ownership, will eventually affect up to 9% of its 3,900 workforce. GovTech Chairman Chng Kai Fong stresses that the move is not driven by artificial intelligence, nor is it a cost-cutting or downsizing exercise. Sabrina Ng with the details.
A shift driven by the growing complexity of government digital services from an agency behind apps familiar to Singaporeans, such as SingPass and Scam Shield. GovTech says the transformation will deliver more reliable, secure and responsive digital services. But that also means a different mix of skills needed, which includes software engineers, product managers, cybersecurity experts and more. The first phase of transformation will affect teams at their headquarters and those forward deployed to agencies. GovTech says it will prioritize redeployment where possible. For the 93 officers leaving GovTech, they will receive 1 month's salary for every year of service, capped at 25 years. Affected staff will also receive an additional 3 months' pay to help them through the transition. Salary and benefits will continue during the 6-week handover and notice period. Career guidance and job matching support will also be provided within the public service and beyond. Those asked to stay on to complete handovers or operate critical systems will receive an additional completion payment. Officers in affected project and vendor management roles will be offered full pay apprenticeships of up to 18 months, along with structured retraining. The program combines technical training with hands-on project experience to allow them to potentially move to product, design or engineering roles. Participants can also apply for vacancies within GovTech or elsewhere in the public service. The Public Service Division will provide career transition support. GovTech did not answer queries from CNA on the profile and roles of affected staff and the total cost of the restructuring exercise. It says it is working closely with PSD, the Skills and Workforce Development Agency, and the Union for Statutory Board Workers to provide personalised support.
Explaining what he describes as difficult choices in a note to his staff, GovTech Chairman Chng Kai Fong says delaying this transition would leave critical government systems harder to secure and more vulnerable to failure. He apologises to workers affected by the restructuring exercise, but says that the agency expects to employ more people at the end of this transformation than the agency does today. Here's Sabrina Ng again.
A world that is becoming more digital, with greater demands on critical government systems. GovTech Chairman Chng Kai Fong says, while vendors remain important partners, critical systems increasingly require stronger in-house capabilities, so the agency can respond more quickly to changing needs. He says vendors work well when goals can be clearly defined upfront, but modern technology requires greater control and agility. That means GovTech must be able to define problems, shape system architecture, and continuously improve critical digital services. Mr. Chng says vendors will remain key partners, but accountability for GovTech's core systems will now rest with the agency. He also stressed that the shift began well before the current wave of AI. Take services like SingPass, Parents Gateway and CDC vouchers. Mr. Chng says they cannot simply be built once, handed to a vendor and considered as complete. Instead, they must be continuously operated, secured and improved. He adds that GovTech could not rely on natural attrition because every year of delay widens the gap between what Singaporeans need and what the agency's current operating model can deliver. Mr. Chng says the decision was a difficult one, but one he and the leadership team stand behind. For affected officers taking up retraining, Mr. Chng says GovTech will not put them through months of training without a genuine opportunity to move into a new role. He stresses that the exercise is not a judgment of their commitment, performance, or the value of their contributions. To those staying on, Mr. Chng urges them to honour the contributions of colleagues who are leaving by making sure the transformation delivers real change and is more than just another organisational restructuring.
The union representing statutory board workers says it was able to identify alternatives to retrenchment with early notice of GovTech's restructuring plans. These include the apprenticeships and redeployment for affected staff. The union adds that it was able to secure more support on top of the baseline provisions, including an additional 3 months' payment and prorated bonus.
Restructuring is never easy for the workers and their families, but with support from the union, together with NTUC and NTUC's E2I, we are focused on helping affected officers move into their new jobs.
In a social media post, NTUC Deputy Secretary General Desmond Chu says that early engagement with the union is key. This to better address concerns, provide support, and help affected workers find jobs. The Manpower Ministry shares that the newly formed Skills and Workforce Development Agency is working closely with GovTech, PSD, and other public agencies amid the layoffs. This to facilitate redeployment within the sector through advisory and job matching. One analyst says the layoffs come as a surprise, particularly at this scale, and not something typically seen for the public sector. He adds that while jobs within government agencies are traditionally seen as stable, this could signal the need to evolve and build new capabilities to serve Singaporeans.
I think it actually sets a precedent for other government agencies. So I do anticipate that other government agencies will somehow follow suit, like sooner or later. Not because they want to downsize or get rid of people, but it's more of the needs have changed, right? As you know, now we live in a very volatile environment, like economically, socially. So the capabilities of the public officers also need to change.